Today we're going back to Ohio. We're going to eat hot dogs in Toledo. We're gonna drink red wine in Vermilion. And then Cleveland and Cuyahoga National Park.
I'm riding with my RV, wherever I want to be. 'Cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah.
So I spent the night here at Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop. Well, good morning. It was a pretty good night. It was a pretty good night. Sleep wasn't too loud. And I guess exit through here. But today we have a destination, Toledo, Ohio, and what I did, I'm gonna bite the bullet and pay the tolls. At some point I have to get me that easy pass, but I don't have one right now, so off we go. By the way, I brought that
Take the
fancy...
next left onto 60th Avenue, North Plainview Road.
I brought that fancy battery system of ours to its knees. It's at 20%. I ran the AC for a couple of hours, and then I edited a video. I processed the
In a
video.
quarter mile, turn left onto the I-80 East, US 6 East ramp to Davenport.
And then what I did, I turned off the inverter so I wouldn't kill the battery. But what I did, I killed the MacBook battery, and apparently it died in the middle of the upload. By the way, good internet here on all three networks, so that's a good thing. We have 413 miles of driving, which is probably gonna be most of the day. And we're gonna lose an hour because we're going into the Eastern time zone. We're once again crossing the mighty Mississippi, and this is the last time we're going to see the Great River on this trip. We are driving east into the land of Lincoln. It is going to be a long drive today, but sometimes you just have to put in the miles. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm doing this leg of the trip solo. Illy flew back to Florida yesterday from Des Moines, but don't despair. She'll be coming back the day after tomorrow, flying into Toledo. Crossing the Des Plaines River, we are approaching Chicago, which means we're going to encounter a little bit of traffic. And now we're driving over the Thornton Quarry, one of the largest in the world. It almost looks like a canyon. Soon after, we're in Indiana.
Welcome to Indiana.
Thank you. In Michigan.
Welcome to Michigan.
Oh, thank you. For some reason, Google thought it would be a good idea to take us on I-94 through Michigan. It kind of looks like a detour on the map, but it probably saves a couple of minutes in the end. That's how Google works anyway, sometimes in mysterious ways. It's been a long day. We're a little over an hour away from Toledo. And yeah, I stopped back there. I didn't film anything, but I took a shower. I had some bread and butter because I didn't want to complicate myself cooking anything, and I did some and I had some coffee. That was it. Ooh, I'm kind of starving. I'm just gonna use some of this stuff and eat. After almost 10 hours on the road, what can I say? Bon appetit. This episode is sponsored by Surfshark VPN, and VPN it stands for Virtual Private Network. And what it does is a software that creates a private connection between your devices and the internet. So for example, if you're at the RV park or a coffee shop and you have to connect to that potentially insecure Wi-Fi network, a VPN will protect you, and will prevent other people from eavesdropping on that connection and potentially stealing your passwords, your identity, that kind of thing. It does have other features. It has one of my favorite features, actually, is that you can change your location virtually. Let's just say, for example, we're here right now, but we want to watch something or access something on the internet that is only available in a different country. No problem. There's a drop-down menu, and you can select, the server in the country or the city, wherever you want to be at. There's another feature called Clean Web that gets rid of unwanted ads or potential spyware, that sort of thing. So yeah, if you're gonna connect to a network that you don't know if it is secure or not, or even it's good practice to do it all the time. Just check out the link in my description, surfshark.deals/myrv, and use promo code MyRV for 83% off and 3 months for free.
All right, let's go into Toledo.
Well, yeah, good morning. Let's explore Toledo a little bit.
Well, let's go into Toledo. There's a brewery, there's a famous bridge, there's a famous hot dog place, there's a museum boat. We're not gonna have time for all that. We only have like 2 hours.
Take the next right onto West State Route.
Gonna meet up with executive producer Ron and his son later today for lunch at Tony Packo's and get a little bit of work done, and then tomorrow morning we're going to the airport with trailer in tow. I like to see the residential neighborhoods and see the different architectural styles, and this is what I would call I don't know, cold northern Midwestern style. Now crossing the Maumee River and our first view of downtown. Someone recommended a brewery here, so let's check it out. It is Maumee Bay Brewing Company, and it is located in this historic building called Oliver House, which used to be a hotel dating back to 1859. Just gonna have a quick IPA and continue.
Well, that was really good.
This city, by the way, is a major trade center for the Midwest, and it grew very quickly in the mid-1800s after the completion of the Erie and Miami canals, and because of its strategic location as a port on Lake Erie and being on the railroad track between New York and Chicago. This place was all about Great Lakes commerce. In fact, there's the National Museum of the Great Lakes that I want to visit, but today we just don't have the time. Let's park right here at International Park for some great views of downtown. It is a pretty good looking city, let me tell you, and there's been some revitalization going on, concerts happening in the summer at Promenade Park across the river. That seems to be Promenade Park, where they do all the concerts. Yeah, International Park here could use a little bit of TLC, better maintenance, but the views are nice. There's Colonel James M. Schoonmaker Museum ship and the National Museum of the Great Lakes, and let me tell you, this one I wish I had time for. But as I said, we only have a couple of hours, enough to get the lay of the land and find out what I want to see next time.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not gonna have time today to visit the museum or the ship. a pretty impressive ship there. But now I know it's here. So next time we come to Toledo or we come through the area, I'll make sure to visit. But we definitely did not allocate a time for the Museum of the Great Lakes. But what we can do is walk along this trail here by the marina a little bit. In half an hour, I'm meeting with Ron at Tony Packo's. I'm starving. Yeah, this has got to be that riverside trail, right? In any case, for those of you wondering, it is August 6th, and it's incredibly hot out here.
I decided not to do the trail after all and just drive around town. I actually want to see Lake Erie, and I have about 20 minutes to kill before meeting up with Ron. Toledo Yacht Club, established 1865. That's the Point Place Lighthouse. No, can't see Lake Erie yet. And here's the lake. I'm just gonna stop for a moment.
That's the lake, right there.
Is that Turtle Island I see? Anyway, let's go eat that famous hot dog.
Well, here we are at the famous Tony Packo's Cafe, in Toledo, Ohio. So I'm joined by Ron Hanf and his son, and we're gonna have some hot dogs, I guess.
Yes.
I guess it is a tradition for famous visitors to autograph a hot dog bun.
That's pretty cool. Well, we got the signature dish, which is the fried pickles, and Packo's IPA. I didn't know they had IPA, so cheers, guys.
Cheers. There you go.
I decided to get the feast, and it comes with the hot dog, the stuffed cabbage, and chili.
And for some reason, they got me to sign a hot dog bun too. They do have these plastic buns for that sort of thing.
There you go. I signed my bun. Okay, so I added free in my RV just for fun. So thank you for reminding me. I want to thank Ron and Justin, Ron and Justin Hanf for inviting me here to this iconic place. Do they sell?
There's your pickles right there.
The pickles? No, you know what I'm gonna get?
Yep.
Hot dog sauce.
And here we have some famous people. And that's it. Tomorrow we'll go to the airport to pick up Ely and continue our journey east. Let's go to Toledo Express Airport, and since I'm towing the trailer, I'm gonna park at this Walmart about 10 minutes away until the plane lands. And there it is, that's her plane. Wow, that's a very small plane. I guess not many people fly to Toledo. Here we are, Toledo Express Airport, and I'm glad it's not a very busy airport. There she is. We're going back east, but we're gonna take the scenic route. First through downtown, then hugging the southern shore of Lake Erie. Look at all these murals here on Broadway. when I said I wanted to hug the coast, I really wasn't expecting refineries. I was expecting this. A nice beach, and here we are at Maumee Bay State Park. I've always thought the Great Lakes were like inland oceans, with this strange juxtaposition of industry and the nice beaches. Unfortunately, State Route 2 here doesn't really go along the lakeshore as I was hoping, and I'm gonna start by pointing out the first of at least two obvious omissions on this part of the trip. I mean, we're going to be going through an area called Vacation Land for a reason. This whole part of Lake Erie's shores and islands. You've got East Harbor, Catawba Island, Marblehead, Put-in Bay, and all the other islands, even Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world, but we've been here before, and we'll be here again, just not on this trip. Today we're driving non-stop all the way to Vermilion, which is more or less halfway between the Vacation Land area and Cleveland. We're staying at Paper Moon Vineyards, a harvest host, and they have room for like 10 RVs, so this is perfect. I have a feeling I'm gonna like this place. They have a live jazz band, so that's already a plus.
Well, here we are, Paper Moon Vineyards in Vermilion, Ohio. Let's check it out. Here we are, Paper Moon Vineyards, and we're gonna taste something called Message in a Bottle. Well, here we are, and that's our table. Barb and Jim came. We have some new friends. And let me show you what the vineyards actually look like. Let me tell you, it's a lovely place. I'm pleasantly surprised. They have the band, of course, live music. They have a fire over there. And they're harvest hosts. They can host up to 10 campers back there, so that's really good. That's where they have the vineyards.
Just like that, a torrential downpour. And that's our cue to go inside and speak to the owner.
And here's Adam, the owner.
Hey there.
Hi.
Well, this is our production area, and we've been open for about 12 years now. So we can, mark the anniversary pretty well because my son was born the week we opened. So we have our open top fermenters here. These hold 1,500 gallons each. They're all variable capacity, so I can raise and lower the lid. You can see a lid up on top of the tank. It can be lowered to the level of the wine to keep oxygen off. So if it's not completely full, you can lower the lid and then you inflate a inflatable around the circumference of that lid, and it forms a seal. But they're all temperature controlled, so we have kind of cooling jackets here in the middle. So during fermentation, it can get really warm, and we can keep the temperature right at 85, 70 degrees. If I'm doing like our silver lining, the dry Riesling, I like to do a little colder, and it slows the fermentation rate down. We also have the big tank in the corner is called a bright tank, and that is for carbonating our hard cider. So typically you'd see these more in breweries than wineries, but because cider is considered a wine made from the fruit of apples, we're allowed to make that. So we're family owned. It's my dad and mom and myself, and just recently my 10 and 12-year-old boys, the one I mentioned.
Yeah. What's your best seller? What's your best seller of all the...
Best seller, Harvest Blend. It's a sweet red wine, made with local Concord grapes.
Again, thank you for hosting us, for letting us stay here, and
my pleasure.
Letting us try the wines. It's been really great.
So Adam was very gracious to show us the production facility, while outside, a downpour. But the music kept going late into the night. and a great time was had by all. Here's a better look at the vineyards, and it was such a great night. We slept like babies. It is a little hazy, but you can almost make out Lake Erie in the distance. We're going to unhitch and explore the town a little bit. It seems like a lovely downtown.
Well, here we are, Vermilion, Ohio. That's the Vermilion Lighthouse. Lovely town here, but I made a small error. Not navigational error, but like, we wanted to have like breakfast or ice cream or something like that. But it turns out it is Sunday, so everything's closed. Sunday morning here. And I'm easy like Sunday morning, but we're gonna have to go back to the RV at Paper Moon and have breakfast there. But yeah, lovely town, lovely town. Yeah, that's the yacht club.
It is like a small Venice out here. All these houses and these canals on the mouth of the Vermilion River. And it is slowly clearing up here.
That's Canada somewhere beyond the horizon.
Just drove on the road to happiness and Blissful Avenue. These people are like really like positive thinkers, I think.
Continue on Liberty Avenue for 3/4
Yeah, we were looking for a westerly view of the lake, see if we could see like Cedar Point or something like that, but we couldn't. So I think we're going back to the camper to have breakfast and then work a little bit and by noon hitch up. We're going into Cleveland, also known as the Forest City. But more about that on the next episode. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road. riding in my RV, wherever I want to be. And 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah, I'm riding, I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be. 'Cause I'm free in my RV.